Welcome back to the AO Hooters podcast, episode 32. I'm pumped for this one. It's gonna be a good one. You got it, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was watching this. Welcome back, guys. Long time no see, right? I was watching this clip yesterday. I'm doom scrolling as you do, and I see this clip of Obama. Past President Barack Obama, chill guy. There's this person that's basically heckling him, like in the crowds, and he handles it the best way I've ever seen. It was so motivational to me, genuinely. Like the way that he speaks makes me want to learn how to communicate. So I'm gonna show the clip real quick, and then we can talk about it.
And most importantly, we will live up. Most importantly, we will live up to our character as a nation. That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
Every single day.
That's why we're here.
Please use your executive order to halt deportation for all 11.5 undocumented immigrants in this country right now. You have a power to stop deportation for all undocumented
Actually, I don't. And that's why we're here.
I need your help.
Okay.
Stop deportation! Stop deportation!
Thank you. All right.
Stop deportation!
What I'd like to do. No, don't worry about it, guys. Okay, let me finish. I respect the passion of these young people because they feel deeply about the concerns for their families. Now, what you need to know when I'm speaking as President of the United States and I come to this community is that if, in fact, I could solve all these problems without passing laws in Congress, then I would do so. But we're also a nation of laws. That's part of our tradition. And so the easy way out is to try to yell and pretend like I can do something by violating our laws. And what I'm proposing is the harder path, which is to use our democratic processes to achieve the same goal that you want to achieve. But it won't be as easy as just shouting. It requires us lobbying and getting it done. So,
Bars, right?
W Obama,
Straight
bro.
bars.
That's a bar, Obama.
It really was.
That's a bar.
So I want to break this down real quick because that was awesome to me, right? I mean, first off, he doesn't and this one's is kind of big to me. Like he doesn't berate the heckler. You know what I mean? So he's not mad at the person that's doing it. Or maybe he is, but he's not showing it, right? So he's not just kick him out, whatever. Actually, if you watch the video, he says, no, it's okay, let them stay.
He tells the security to keep them stay.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's first off. Second off, he's not berating it. He's saying, we're just not going to take the easy way out. We're going to follow the laws. And I think it's really cool, when he communicates, you notice he takes those long pauses, and you don't hear any ums, you don't hear any ahs. He takes the pauses to stop and think, and not just to think, but to let it sink in, if you notice when people start to talk slower like that, it really lets the what they're actually saying sink into your brain. That's awesome to me. And then not just that, you'll see he genuinely he'll turn to the crowd and speak directly to them, and I think that's awesome. I mean, he's really addressing them as people and not just the cameras, which you'll see a lot of presidents nowadays do. And that's just amazing to me. I mean, you notice this actually, the president now, Trump, people kind of make jokes about this, but he's waving his hands all around when he's talking. He's just this and this and all this kind of stuff. But Obama does that right as well. I mean, he uses his hands, and that really helps get your message across. I learned that a lot. But yeah, I mean, I like to when I was, man, I'm really noticing my ums now that I've watched him. But
Bro, I noticed them too in the editing, both of us.
So, yeah.
The amount of times I cut out ums and uhs.
Really?
So many times, yeah.
Nah, I'm sorry.
For both of us.
Okay, bet. I'm gonna speak like Obama now.
Okay.
Maybe not.
So basically, what I was saying was, anyways.
And the process that takes is something, but yeah, I mean, I used to do a lot of research into communication because I used to really want to be into a sales kind of job. I always felt like I was pretty good at talking, and so I tried to learn the science of communication essentially. And man, he hits the mark on it. I mean, he really does hit every single thing, and that's just really cool to me. I mean, I think personally that's something that is really important to learn.
Yeah, communication is one of the most important things. I definitely know exactly what you mean. If you had to like pin down a couple of things that he and other people who are heavy communicators do, what do you think are some key points, key tactics, key important things to know if you want to be a good communicator?
That's a good question. So, the first off is very important is not to put the other person's opinion down. You know what I mean? That'll almost immediately turn it into an argument, and that's not what you want as a president. You don't want to argue against the state, but even to not normal people, but to the everyday person, like you don't want to, like you want to understand what their point is. You don't want to argue with them, and so treating their opinion as almost as valid as you would your own is very important. I think he does that amazingly. Secondly is actually addressing them, like the person that talked to him. You know, like a lot of times you'll see a reporter will ask the president a question and then they'll look at the camera. And I think that does have merit, you know, because presidents, they do have a lot of responsibility and I guess it's important for them to figure out how they're communicating. I'm sure they do a lot of research into doing that. Like
yeah, it's their whole. It's pretty much their whole. Yeah,
it's
a
really
substantial part of their job.
I mean, like for an example, like you'll see the current president Trump. You'll see him like A/B testing with different crowds. Well, he'll say certain things to certain people and kind of test their reactions. You know, and so they definitely focus a lot on communication and how to get across the thing. But yeah, Obama does good, and I always liked the saying it's the responsibility of the communicator to get the message across the communicatee. You know what I mean? I always loved that because it's your responsibility to get the message across, and so you need to know how to do that. But yeah, I highly suggest it. I do notice though that like, at least my intro to communication class, like I'm taking a communication class in college right now. It really doesn't teach you much that you already know, I guess. I found it very simply. So we recently learned, I guess, like how to communicate in teams. And honestly, it may just be the fact that I already did a lot of research beforehand, like just because I was interested in the topic. You know what I mean? So maybe it is a good class for people, and then I'm thinking about it. But I felt like a lot of the stuff was stuff that I'd already learned. But they also focused a lot of that because I used to be in Boy Scouts as well, and they would put a lot of importance on communicating as a leader and communicating to a group and as a crew, you know. So maybe I learned most of it already from there.
What are some of the things they're teaching you in your communications class?
I mean, so I can tell you our most recent module, like to be completely honest, like that's one of those classes right now for me where I'll bring it in one year, memorize it, do the test, and then completely forget it. But yeah, I mean the most important thing we're learning right now is, I mean, essentially.
I'll restate the question.
Yeah.
What as somebody who would consider themselves a pretty strong communicator, if you had to teach somebody who wasn't a strong communicator how to communicate, what are some things you would tell them?
Okay, that's a good question. So I would say that communication is 20% actually words and 80% nonverbal communication, and that, I don't really think people think about that.
Like
but
body language and stuff?
Yeah, so like the way that your facial, not facial structure, but like the way your face is like being shown as emotion and how your body is handling it. I mean, you'll notice that confident speakers will often talk with their hands, you know, and there's real merit to that. I mean, there's like the difference between like talking, opening your palms to the people and keeping it closed off can genuinely, I mean, humans are very social creatures and they catch on to that subconsciously.
Is the 80% just body language?
So actually, if I remember it specifically, the saying is it's 10% words, it's 10% tonality, and then the other 80% is actual body.
Okay, so you got for body language, so 80%. Holy crap, that's massive. So so let's focus on that for a little bit. You got the outward expression with your hands, speaking with your hands as well as your voice. What else we got for the body language?
Body language, also like, you know, how you're, what's the word for this? Like how your face is, like smiling versus not smiling, I guess. Like not facial structure, but
facial expression.
Yeah, there you go. Your facial expression. That's a very important part of it as well. And I mean, let's see. I mean, the two biggest things that I can really think of are you know, how your face looks and I guess your hands. But if I were to stray off of it a little bit, I mean, that's the general sense, like consensus, you know, 10%, 10%, 80%. If I were to go off on my own, I would actually put a little bit more into tonality, as in the pitch of your speech, you know what I mean? So if you end up like, I mean, there's literally an example of like just saying no to people. Like if you say no in a low voice and a clear tone, I mean, that will really get your point across. But if you're like, nah, you know, it changes the message that you're getting.
No, but maybe.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly. I
versus
mean,
no kind of thing.
it leaves room to interpretation. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good example. I mean, just having that speech as, I guess, how you want your message to come across. You know, if you want it stark and blank like that, you know, you can do that heavier voice. And, you know, I honestly, like, I recommend, honestly, going, after this podcast is done, you know, go and
Watch it all the way through.
yeah, watch it all the way through, and then, you know, actually, like, go
Comment.
out and do your research. I mean, I highly recommend it. It helped me understand human speech in a way, and just doing your own research. And it, like I said, I mean, it helped me talk to people. I don't know if it would help with, I think it would help with, like, social anxiety, you know. I don't know if it would be as direct as other methods out there.
Yeah.
But I think just being confident in your own speech can really help you just going out and talking to people. Because, I mean, if you're not as worried about yourself and your own speech, then you can kind of just be like, okay, I can just go out and talk to people. I know I'm not the problem. You know what I mean? So it's not as...
It's a big
it's not
weight
as much
lifted
of a
off
worry.
your shoulders for sure. A book that really helped me was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a huge, it's one of those things that you just like, you almost use it as like a textbook. You just keep coming back to it. It's super big. He's got like so many tips on how to communicate and things like that.
You would recommend it?
I would, a huge book. And then honestly, in my experience, the best thing I've done to like relieve like social anxiety in particular is just exposure therapy. It's just like going out when you don't want to, or like talking to people when you don't want to, doing it nervous. You know?
Yeah, keep going.
You got it.
I was going to say, I always loved the term rejection therapy.
Yeah.
Where you go out and ask crazy questions expecting a no. Like, for example, whenever I'd be in, like, the Chick-fil-A line, for example, I would go and at the end of the order, I'd be like, hey, can I get a cookie? You know what I mean? Like, genuinely. And some of the times, they would actually just give me a cookie. You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
Or, yeah, or I saw a video where they'd just go to Home Depot and be like, hey, can I use your intercom real quick? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not?
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
Actually?
yeah, it's crazy.
Video idea.
The things that you can get by just asking. And
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, the point of it is that it's okay for them to say no. You know what I mean? It's okay to go up and the answer be no. I mean, that's what the point is that no isn't detrimental to you.
Yeah,
In a
it's a
slightest.
non-issue.
Right. It's a non. Yeah.
And even if it is an issue, it's okay. Like, I think we're raised in this way now, our generation, us, who, like, we're so not all right with hearing no or something being a problem or, like, having, like, a pain. You know what I mean? Like, we're taught, like, this is bad, this is wrong, we have to fix it. And, like, you do have to fix it, but also being able to, like, live with it. Trying to fix it and being able to live with the process of you trying to fix it rather than sitting in it, I think is such a valuable skill. Like, there's always going to be trials, there's always going to be tribulations, there's always going to be struggle, and kind of accepting that. And not, when I say accept it, I don't mean like, I'm just going to struggle and I'm just going to, you know, there's nothing I can do, you know, whatever. Like, I mean, like, actually trying to do something about it, but being okay with the genuine attempt rather than any success you might get. But the problem is that genuinely trying is hard. You have to try.
Yeah, failure's okay.
Yeah. Failure's okay, but not trying at all, I think is problematic.
I agree.
When people have like social anxiety and stuff, I think it's so easy to just like, I think Mark Manson said something like this. He was like, and this isn't a direct quote, he was like, when it comes to relationships, it's easier to identify as the type of person that nobody would want to be with rather than actually trying to be with somebody and then getting rejected. Like, it's easier to hold that identity rather than actually putting yourself out there and then getting hurt. But and I think that's so true, and I related to that so much, and you can apply that to communication and social stuff too. Like, it's easier to identify as somebody who sucks at social stuff, and it's just like, well, they don't like me. I don't, I don't fit in, whatever. And then just go like sit in your room. Like it's easier to do that, but it's also filled with regret. And I've adopted this frame that's really, really helped me when I don't want to do things. It's like you can either live with failure or live with regret. You know what I mean? And I choose failure.
Yeah, I
like,
love that.
There's like assuming, and if success comes, then you know what I mean. But like, you can live like it's, bro. I mean, you see people at like 80 who have nothing but regret, and that's a tough life to live. Like they're almost begging you to like do stuff, and they live vicariously through you. Like I was speaking to one individual who's older, and he had a lot of like regrets and stuff, and he was it was almost like begging me to like put myself out there and like go talk to more people and like try like go for like big swings, in my words. But he was like, it was so interesting because like he didn't do those things in his life, and it's like you can either live a failure, or you can live with regret. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like choose.
Yeah, and you can learn from him. He really doesn't want you to make the same mistake
Exactly.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds detrimental.
It really is.
But yeah. I mean, I really think just going back like to this generation specifically, I really think that a lot of arguments nowadays, whether in person or online, more often online, because there's arguments everywhere online, but they're really, almost all of them are just like miscommunications between the people, and that's crazy to me. Yeah. And miscommunication, I mean, you really do see it all the time. Like a majority of arguments is just because they're not understanding the other person's point, and they're not willing to understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And like people don't understand, it's their responsibility to get their point across in a way that the other person can understand. So you can't just keep repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I actually, I know you learned from the book. I learned from somebody who I wouldn't advocate for per se. If you've ever seen Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio played Jordan Belfort, who is actually a real person. It's based on a true story. He got out of jail, and he has a YouTube channel now and everything, and he basically just tries to teach you as much as he can about sales, And I'll say before I continue too far that be careful with people who are on YouTube trying to teach you like salesman strategies, because a lot of them can be sometimes in gray areas of making the other person feel good about themselves.
Unless it's Alex Hormozy.
Right, sure, buddy. But I actually learned so much about communication from him, because he is genuinely like he's a natural. Like he spent a lot of time working on it for sure, but I mean he says this himself, like he was born like he could just do that,
Yeah.
I mean he could just talk to people and convince them somehow to do whatever he needed them to do. And if you not look past the other stuff, but learn from the good stuff, you know what I mean?
Take the good, leave the bad. Use if useful.
Exactly. You really can learn a lot about that, and that's where I learned the most.
Yeah,
of it.
I learned where I learned. So here's some. If you're looking for, in my experience, the best thing that I do to like learn in my struggle areas is learn from people who have also struggled in the thing, not people who are naturally good at that thing. Because I feel like the people who are naturally good at the thing, they don't know how to do it, they just do it, And the people who started from not being able to do it to now being able to do it, they have gone through that hill that I need to now go through. And so I think that that's even more valuable, is learning from the people who weren't originally able to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'll hear like people say like, yeah, I was always born like that. I don't really know how it happened. And then they'll be asked, well, how do you think it happened? Or like, what would you recommend? And then they'll give like some answer that they kind of just
simple answer
create out of air.
Right.
Like it's not what they're actually doing. It's just what they think kind of makes
correlation.
sense. Yeah. And so the people who actually weren't always like that, I think, it's really valuable to learn from those people. Like my favorite type of stories in real life are the people who started off as failures and then created the success, or like started from nothing and then moved on to great things. Like those are the people you want to listen to, because they actually know how to do it. It was not natural to them.
Yeah, those stories also just feel more real. Like you actually had hardships and everything.
Yeah.
I will say, going back to the case of Jordan Belfort, he actually struggled a lot, or not struggled a lot in sales specifically, but because he owned the company. If you've ever seen the movie, he starts his own trading firm, and he struggled, but he actually learned how to teach people sales. Like, that's where I think he really shines, is his ability to teach people how to communicate. You know what I mean? I mean, this is self-proclaimed by him. I mean, he spent a lot of time doing that and just testing and trying to figure out what actually got people to understand it. I mean, some random guy from Idaho can come to New York and he can teach them, and they can actually make some sales, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's where he really shines. But I totally agree. I mean, learning from the people that didn't have it naturally and made their way to the top, right? Those are the people who are normally have better crafted advice for people. I always like, there's a saying, it's like, it's more rewarding to climb up the mountain with rocks in your backpack than it is with no backpack at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you did it with all of those hardships, if you didn't just have it naturally and you actually had things holding you back and you still climbed to the top of the mountain with those people, it just feels better. I mean, you had those rocks in your backpack.
Feels
It's more
better. You
rewarding.
learn more. You're stronger for it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, part of me kind of wishes that, and I try not to think about this too much, but a part of me wishes that I was sort of born with like some crazy natural talent that I could almost take
Yeah.
advantage of. You know what I mean? I don't think it happened, and I try not to think about this too much because it's just not good to think about. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't
not
change how you were
productive,
born. You
yeah.
can't change what you were born with. If anything, it's more important to think about the good things you were born with. You know,
Yeah.
try to focus on that, and I definitely do. I don't want to sound inconsiderate at all, but shoot, it would have been kind of cool maybe. But I mean, how often does that really happen? Like, how
I don't know.
often are really
I think
prodigies?
that it's a spectrum. Like, people are born inherently with capabilities and hindrances. Like, for me personally, I think I've always been a pretty funny person. I've always been able to make jokes out of a lot of things. Something I really struggle with is learning new things. That's not naturally something I'm good at. And I think for you, from a third party perspective, you've always been like the smartest dude in the room. You've always been able to like absorb things very quickly. And so honestly, to a degree, I would disagree with you. I think you were born with capability. Like, I think coming from somebody who really, really struggles with information absorption, like, I don't do that naturally. Like, it's not my natural inclination at all, not even at all, at all. And so, like, there's always been a juxtaposition I've seen between you and me. It's been huge. So I wouldn't say that about you.
That's fair.
Or
I
I
guess
would, yeah.
It probably it's probably a lot harder to. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my experience, it's been easier to see other people's like perfections and flaws than it is.
Yeah,
than it is
you
my
can see them
own.
in a more objective manner. Other
Yeah,
people, for
I
sometimes.
suppose. Yeah, and I also think that, and this is sort of supported, but like, I mean, there's different, like, I wonder if everybody has that skill that they have, and some people just don't find it in their life. You know what I mean? Like, you really are great at something out there, and we just haven't found it yet. Some people find it early.
Yeah, there is genetic predisposition. Like, people are better at different things naturally.
There are certain archetypes.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think it's definitely a valuable skill to like lean into what you're good at, which is I think what I'm doing for sure with YouTube. But it's interesting because it's like, do you try to lean into what you're good at even if you don't like if you're funny, that doesn't mean you should try to be a comedian. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like it's interesting. You have to balance it. You
Just-
know?
Yeah, I guess it gives you the option of being a comedian, but I totally agree.
Because you can learn new skills. Like, you can pretty much learn anything. Like, if I dedicated like 20 years of my life, I could be a neurosurgeon. You know what I mean? Like, fit like 20 years. You know what I mean? But like, I could do it. I think anybody could do it. And so like, we're capable of learning everything. It's just like, how much time do we have, and how much time are we willing to give it to it? I've heard Alex Hormozy said this really cool thing. And I don't know if I fully like. I think it depends, but he said I think it's worth the discussion of like, you don't like things because you're bad at them, and then assume when you start getting good at things, you'll start liking them more. And I honestly agree with him to a degree. Like, we like the things we're good at. You know what I mean? And it's fun for us because we're good at it. Like, what makes it hard is that we don't know how to do it yet. If we knew how to do it, it'd be easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's I like that saying. I guess my follow-up question would be, well, because sometimes I have things that are hard for me that I'm super motivated to do because it's hard, and then there's some things that seem hard, but if anything, it demotivates me to do it. So I guess how do you flip those latter ones around? I mean, how do you get motivated to do those hard things?
I would say the thing you do to get motivated to do the hard thing is the purpose behind the hard thing. Like, I don't think doing hard things for the sake of hard things doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like even if somebody's like, I do things hard just because they're hard, and things are hard because they're hard, like, and I'll do it because it's hard, there is a purpose behind that, and that's that you want to gain a skill or learn something new or develop like a strength. You know what I mean? Like, there is a purpose statement behind there, and so I think doing hard things is possible with a purpose. Like Viktor Frankl said this thing. I think it was Viktor Frankl who said it. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, he said, "A man with any why can conquer any how," and I think that's true. Like, as long as you have your whys in check, your directional axis is on something you really believe in, you can do anything.
Yeah. It almost sounds a little bit easier said than done.
Sure. Yeah.
But I like that saying. You know, if you have that reason, I always liked not just the reason to do it, but also like what would happen if you didn't do it.
Running away
and
from
then,
failure.
Yeah, imagine your life if you didn't do that thing, and if you didn't try at all. You know, what would your life look like?
That's more motive. That makes me act more than the positives for sure. Is the running away from failure stuff. 100, like, completely. Like, I mean, they've done studies on it too. Like, it's so much more motivating to not want to fail than want to succeed. At least for me.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this on a
Episode
long time.
6.
Was it? Wow, that's awesome.
The mouse study.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I won't even bring it back up again.
No, bring it up. It's
Okay.
32.
Yeah, that's fair. So, quick TLDR. They tested mice. So what they would do with the mouse is they would clamp down their tail to the ground, right? And not in a too painful way, just so they couldn't run, essentially. And what they would do is they would put a piece of cheese about a couple of feet in front of them, and they would see how fast or how hard the rat would pull to get to the cheese, right? And the second test they did was they didn't just put cheese right here. They also had a cat in the back that was heading towards the mouse. And you'll notice that the mouse starts running way harder, way faster. I mean, obviously in place, but, you know, they're really trying to escape. And the analogy to this situation is that it's not just the cheese or the thing that you're wanting. That is motivational, but that you'll find your most motivation when you have a cat behind you that's about to kill you. You know, like, imagining what your life would be like if you didn't even try at all, and like being scared of that. You got to be scared of something, and you also got to be motivated by something.
Yeah.
And that tends to be more helpful than just one or the other. You know what I mean?
I'll tell a story because I think it's relevant. Like a couple of weeks ago, you know this, but a couple of weeks ago, I was taking 2 summer classes, and I had one I was locked in, the other one I was screwed on, bro. I checked my grade, and I literally had to get an A on the test, and I got Fs on all the other tests. I just wasn't trying in the class. Like, there was 3 days to study for the test. I had pretty much an F in everything, but I had to get like at least a 90 on the test to pass, and I knew zero material, and it was one of the hardest classes in the entire thing. And I was like, I'm cooked. It's GG's. I'm screwed.
Said that often.
But and I think I even said it on the podcast too.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, it's over for me.
That's not a good mindset.
But I adopted this frame that really, really helped me through it. Because it's easy to be like, all right, I'm screwed, I'm just going to give up. But what really helped me was I kept kind of saying to myself over and over again, if I'm going to fail, and this is kind of funny, but I laugh when I hear it. I was like, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail glamorously.
Nice.
Like, I'm going to fail having given it 100% effort. And that's how I'll do it, whether I succeed or not. And I ended up passing the class. But the point of that is, like, back to what we were talking about earlier, you don't have to succeed. You just have to not want failure, if you know what I mean. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, like, every time I've succeeded at something in my life, I've just been more relieved that I haven't failed. You know what I mean? Rather than like been all right with the success. And so I think it's so it's important to just, that frame really helped me of like, if I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail trying my hardest.
Yeah, or fail forwards, I guess some
Yeah.
people say. But yeah, I mean, I think it's the only way to like accept it in a healthy way, failure or success, is to know that you put 100% of your effort into doing the
Yeah.
thing, you know? So if you studied for those 3 days as hard as you possibly could, you did everything you could, you got to the test, you think, there's nothing more I could have done to prepare for this test, and you hear that a lot, and you still fail, then, I mean, there's nothing to do but accept it. Like, you couldn't have tried any harder. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe you could think back to, like, I could have done better at the start of the semester.
It's
or
tough
whatever.
because it's really hard to get in that headspace of like, there is nothing more I could have done.
Yeah. I
'Cause
always feel like there's more.
I always feel like there is more, and I think there always is more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's just like, I don't know. I don't think you're ever going to be content with failure, or at least I probably won't. Like, I think there's always going to be a thing in the back of your head of like, I could have done more.
Yeah.
If you do fail after really, really trying, and I think that just sucks, and I think that's just part of the game of failure.
Yeah.
I don't think that goes away. I think that's what makes failure so hard.
Mm.
Like, I think if you thought you actually did your best, like genuinely believed it, and you failed, I don't think I think most people wouldn't be that upset about it. But the fact that there's like a thing in the back of your head of like, I might have been able to do more, I think that regret is really what eats people up.
Yeah.
It would eat me
Or
up too.
I could have done it differently in a way that I could have passed that
Yeah,
test.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Actually, I hear, I like watching podcasts. Healthy Gamer GG, he has podcasts where he'll bring like big streamers in, like typically, not just streamers, you know, typically successful people in regards. But they actually have the same thing. I mean, they've made it. They're successful. They're happy with everything they have, and they still feel like they could have done more, like they didn't do good enough, you know what I mean? And so it's not like that goes away with the success or failure, you know. So
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast with like accepting downsides. I think that I don't know if that goes away. Like, I've never heard, I don't hear too many adult, like you do see it, like you do see it.
What's that?
The uncertainty and like I could have done more in the back of your head. I don't think that ever goes away. I think that always, like, I don't know.
Well, I've heard of it being helped with therapy, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I would do away from that.
Do you think that's a bad thing? That uncertainty?
It's definitely not. It's way too complex to call it a good or bad thing. I'm sure that it helped those people become successful, you know, but it still eats away in their minds. So
Yeah.
I guess it's how you define good or bad.
It's just the downside.
Right. Yeah, truly. I mean, I always like the saying my dad taught me, it's like, if you can't do anything about it, then don't worry about it. And I know that sounds so simple. Like, it's much easier said than done, but like, it's kind of along the lines of like, if you tried your absolute best, you know, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it. And I know that's hard to do. It really
Yeah.
is. But I don't know, maybe we'll solve it. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
maybe.
I mean, we're 20 and you turn 21 soon. I guess we're both turning 21 soon.
Yeah.
And we barely started, so
Yeah,
so
we got
we've got a lot of ways to go.
Got like a lot of game left to play.
Yeah, it'd be cool to. I've actually been interested for the past couple of months just going to get like either going to therapy or getting like a brain scan. Not because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm flawed, but obviously I am flawed. I mean, I do feel like I'm flawed, but I'm not trying to go to therapy because I think they will fix me, but just because I'm curious, because I feel like I'm thinking about this kind of stuff that we're talking about all the time, and just all of this stuff, and I wonder what the professional view of it would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can watch, you know, I can watch streamers go on podcasts and talk about it, but that's not. I don't get to ask the questions that I really want to ask, I suppose. So it'd be cool to do that. And then also, I think it would be cool just to get a brain scan, just to see which parts of my brain are active and which parts are inactive. You know what I mean? I mean, you can learn a lot of cool stuff.
I
just from
always
brain
worry I'll
scans.
use what they say as like an excuse. I don't know. I go back and forth on that. I think I am gonna do it. Therapy. I've actually, well, yeah, but I go back and forth. I don't. It goes to a conversation we were talking about in an earlier podcast of like, is it good to know your flaws?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when it comes to like the mental problems or whatever, or do you just try to do what you can with what you have? You know.
I think it's I mean, I really think it's important to know your flaws.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used the analogy before that your emotions aren't the driver. I mean, you're the driver of the car, and your flaws and your emotions are sort of the dashboard of the car, right? So it shows you how you're supposed to drive. And if you don't know that these things are going wrong, then you're just going to be driving and your car's going to break down. And you're going to be like, why the heck did my car break down? You know, why am I failing all of these things when I feel like I'm doing what other people are trying to do, you know, but I'm failing. So why am I failing, you know? And it's because you may not know your flaws. And so I think it's better to know them and to accept them. Or maybe not accept them. Well, I suppose accept them, but not in the way that you're not doing anything to help it, kind of like what you were saying earlier, but you still have to accept that they're part of you.
It's like the accept the attempt at trying to do better, not the actual doing, or not the actual output of the doing better.
Yeah, or sort of like accept that you have those flaws, but still work toward, like, that's not the solution.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the end
It's not an
goal,
excuse.
right? That you still need to continue to work on
Like, you
them.
have the flaws, but you still have a life to live.
Right, you
know?
have the responsibility to try to work on those flaws, I
Yeah.
suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I think going to therapy would be pretty cool. I mean, maybe cool is not the right word. It would be interesting to see what they say. And
Yeah.
I think there's kind of the misconceptions are getting better about therapy, but you really don't have to be. You don't have to feel like you're a broken person to go to therapy. I know healthy people that continue to go to therapy, and that's partly the reason that they stay so healthy is because they can talk about these things, you know. And so going to therapy doesn't mean you have to accept that you're a broken individual, and I think a lot of people think like that. And I think actually also people kind of think like that with doctors as well, and I've struggled with that too. You know, like to take a medication, you have to accept that you're flawed. You know what I mean? Which is kind of actually for me it was kind of hard to accept. You know, like I didn't want to accept that I couldn't fix it on my own, and every time I take the medication, it's just like, okay, well, I have to take this, but
Yeah.
you also kind of don't have to, and it's a weird balance, you know. But you know, go to therapy, and most of the insurances cover it. I mean, and I think what also people are scared of is that they'll have a bad therapist, and they don't really realize that the process of switching is not that hard. I mean,
Yeah.
if your therapist is bad, switch to another one. It's not the end of the world, and a lot of people are scared to start just because they.
Healthy Gamer Gigi actually gave this advice. When you're going to therapy, if you're first going to therapy, schedule 3 appointments with 3 different therapists, and then you can kind of see which one, and then like you can juxtapose between like bad and good, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the advice he gave. It's tough with insurance, but I think it's a little tough. But that's good advice.
There are also options out there to help you with that.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. I mean, actually, I should have done that the first time I went. I went when I was maybe, I mean, I'm 20 now. I went when I was maybe 13, 14. It's actually kind of funny. So the deal was, I was talking to my mom, and I was like, even though I had friends, I guess I felt pretty lonely because this is pre talking to women, okay, pretty much social anxiety Owen kind of phase, and I know that it's crazy, but it happened, and so I was telling her, and I was like, I was telling her all this. I was like, Mom, I really want a dog. Like I think a dog would save me. I still have my dog. I love him. His name's Max. And she said, okay, that's fine. You can get a dog on the condition that you try therapy. And I was just like, all right, bet, sign me up, sign me up. And so I should have done what Healthy Gamer GG suggested and gone to 3 different ones. I went to 1. The first meeting, my mom was in there with me, so it was just like, he was doing whatever, kind of just talking and getting the general consensus. The second meeting, he, 10 minutes in after talking, he turns on the show that he's watching, and it's like this Viking show on Netflix, and it was the new one at the time. And I'm watching like 30 minutes into episode 6. Like he started it on episode 6, and he's just watching his show.
He started a TV show?
Well, so he's been watching the show, right? He watched episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on his own, and then about 10 minutes in, he's just like, "Hey, do you want to watch this Viking show?" And so he just turns on his show and starts watching it. And and I'm watching an episode. I'm like, "What the heck is going on?"
Why would he turn on a show anyways?
It wasn't part of therapy. He just wanted to watch his show on his own, So so he's sitting right here. I'm sitting right here.
Was that like after the appointment or something?
No, this was the appointment. That's what I'm saying.
Wait,
and
that's a little weird.
It's crazy. And then the third session, after about 5-10 minutes of talking, what he does is he puts this like VR headset on me, and it's like nature with like bird sounds and everything.
Yeah.
And he just leaves me in it for like 40 minutes, and just does his own thing. And it was horrible. I mean, it was not a good experience, and
feel
it
like that's
almost like
awful.
it pushed me away from it. I was just like, why would I do this?
Yeah, I feel
you
like
know?
that's terrible.
Why am I watching the middle of this Viking show? I don't even know what the plot is. You know, I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of people, unfortunately, have a similar experience to me, where they go to a therapist and they're not interested in helping. I mean, they're more interested in just the money or than they really are helping you.
Yeah.
And that's just sad. I mean, I've been to another one since then and actually had the same thing, or not the same thing, but you know, similar problems where they just gave me the most basic kind of answers. And it just wasn't very very helpful.
That's one of the careers where you have to actually really care to be good at it. Like you have to be good at it to be good at it.
Right.
And yeah, that sucks. I mean,
And I don't.
you gotta like.
And the thing, go ahead. Sorry.
You got it.
I was just gonna say, the only problem that I was worried about was just like, okay, what if this is what therapy is supposed to be like, and I just need to stick it out for a couple more sessions, and I didn't really know how to balance that, but
Yeah. I think people, it's so interesting. Like people will, like some people hate therapy with a passion. Other people like live and die, breathe it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think I'm definitely gonna try it.
I think there could be problems on both sides. By the
Yeah.
way, I know people that are on both sides of that spectrum. I mean, people who hate it, and you know, are having problems, and it almost seems like therapy would be the perfect answer. Like, just go and talk to somebody about it, you know. But they will not accept it. They will not go. They think it's gonna ruin their lives if they go. And then I have somebody on the opposite side where they talk to their therapist like multiple times a week. It's not even just a therapist. What's the one? A psychiatrist? Is that the one that prescribes things? They'll go to like
I'm not sure.
therapy multiple times a week, and then psychiatry, and you know, they'll just get try out all these different medications, and you know, it's the
scary to
opposite side
me.
of the spectrum, and it can also be scary like that.
Yeah,
And that's
the medications thing is really scary to me.
it is.
I don't
It's
know
almost
if
like
I do that.
the easy way out of accepting flaws. Like, you accept your flaws, and I don't want. It's too simple. I don't want to say that, because
Yeah.
medication is hard. It's hard to.
Medication's a tough
very
one.
very personal. It's very
Yeah,
subjective.
it's definitely a personal choice.
But I do see people who do that. I mean, I like the analogy. It's like that what they're. Never mind. I don't want to say that.
Do
But
you think that the person who doesn't like therapy, do you think they do that because of the therapy, or do you think they do that because they don't want to fix the problems that they have?
I would say the former is what's mostly on their mind, and that's what they think the reason is.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there's no instance of the latter case. I mean, I think even if they're not thinking about it, that is partly in their subconscious. Like, I don't want to fix this. You know what I mean? Like, this is part of me. So yeah.
I think
I don't know if they would ever accept that, but
Yeah. They're just like, some of it is like using it as an excuse.
right. They would never say that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's been tough being like, you almost need this thing, or what you're doing right now isn't working, and so you should probably try something else. Like, that's been how I'm validating it, is like, you've been doing this for a while. It's not really working. You keep thinking you can do it on your own, and you're not really doing it on your own. And so, what are you gonna do now? Are you gonna keep trying to do it on your own, or are you gonna try to do something different? You know what I mean? And that's how I'm validating it at the moment. But I can see both sides.
Yeah, I feel like people have a lot of time accepting that, a hard time accepting that they can't do it on their own, I guess. And it's hard because I feel like you could do it on your own, I guess. I don't know, it's very
Can you?
subjective, you know. Right, I mean, that's
Because
the,
you're
that's the
not,
question.
right? Like,
That's true. That's true.
could you?
I mean, I like to think about it as just like, maybe I can, but this is going to speed run my route to that, and they know those answers. I mean,
Yeah.
they have the scientific backing to understand that kind of stuff, and so maybe they know more about the brain than I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they definitely do, but are they using it right? I don't know. I wonder how many therapists people end up going through before they find their one on average. You know what I mean?
A couple.
Yeah, I bet the data would show that they go through a couple.
It's so personal. Like, it's a human. It's a human, and so they're gonna have different opinions. They're gonna do things differently. The data can only really take you so far. You know, like if you do something that goes against the data, but it works. So who cares? You know what I mean? And so it's tough, because it's tough. Yeah.
It is, and it's also important to know that there's also like different types of therapists out there. I mean, well, not just therapy, but I mean, there's therapy, there's psychiatry, there's like life coaches.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of an in-between where they're not going to analyze your brain and try to figure out what the flaws are, but they're going to give you helpful practices to achieve the things that you want to achieve in life, you know? And those are actually out there. I mean, they're I didn't even know that they were a thing until I started looking into the
Life coaches?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are life coaches more like just people who succeeded, like you can succeed too, or are they more like therapists where they like went to school to be that and they have like data backing and stuff?
I think it's more therapists.
Yeah.
I'd do your own research to make sure that's true, but I believe that it's more the therapists that turned into life coaches, less like just average successful people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's people who were taught how to teach people to help them. You know what I mean? Like they know how to teach you. It's not just some random person trying to give you advice from their own experiences. This is people who know how to teach other people to help. But it's also a lot less about trying to fix your flaw, like identify and fix the flaws that you may have. It's more about you have these goals. Let's lay out a healthy plan to get them achieved. You know what I mean? So that'll be cool.
So kind of going along with this, I've been asking every single person in my life close to me this question, and I wanted to ask you too, but I was like, I should probably ask you on the podcast. And so I've been getting pretty much actually similar answers, and so I'm very curious what you think. And I actually, for audience, I recommend you guys do this with your close friends as well. But if you could name my worst character trait, what would it be, and what do you think I can do about it? You're ugly.
Worst character trait.
Yeah. What would you even consider? I get pretty much the same answer every single time.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do they think of it very quickly? I'd be surprised.
They
if
do,
you got
yeah.
the same answer.
Immediately, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
No, they think for a little bit, but
yeah, maybe I don't see it as much of a flaw. But the thing is that's difficult for me is that the things that I may think are flaws now may be the things that help you become successful in the future. And so I try to take a lot of what people's traits are with a grain of salt in that aspect. But I mean, having the tendency. I mean, I've noticed that you can stretch yourself thin sometimes. I mean, you'll take on almost too much to chew, you know. And so sometimes you can struggle with the things that you're doing because you have so many other things that are on your plate. But that can also be a good thing later in the future. But I don't know. I would consider that. I mean, what is the general answer? Is it something that...
Not that.
Yeah.
People say I try too hard.
Try too hard?
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I
in
guess
like
maybe
everything
along those
in
lines.
life, like in everything. They just think
Seriously?
I take life too seriously. I try too hard. Pretty much has been the consensus. Like they say it in their different ways, but just you try a little too hard kind of thing.
Try too hard?
Yeah. And then nobody has a solution. I like the second part of that question is like, what's the solution? They're just like,
Try less.
Try like,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do, bro? But I think from asking that question, my the general answer that I've gotten, which I think I'm going to implement, is I need to take life a little bit less serious. Like we're gonna die, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't consider like taking it less serious, but I feel like if, and this may be wrong, right? But if anything other than like the goals that you've achieved is like a really bad life, you know, like and sometimes I think that maybe in your mind that if you don't like hit goals or you have this perception of what life really could be in your mind, and if it isn't that, then life is like not great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's not about taking life less seriously, but realizing that, okay, even if things don't end up how I'm looking at them now, it's not going to be a bad life. You know what I mean? And so maybe that fear of it being a bad life is what's pushing you so hard to be serious. But
Yeah.
I'm not in your mind, so I really can't tell.
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist, guys. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've thought a lot about like what would be like a good life for me, and I've really narrowed it down to 3 things, and I'm living 2 out of the 3 right now, and so because I think it's okay. So before I answered that, something I used to really struggle with, and I had to go through like a really tough thing to like get out of it, was like I used to value material success, like money, business, over pretty much everything else. And the more that I'm learning about just getting older, the more that I'm realizing that's not how I want to live my life. Like I was going a very Alex Hormozy approach to it, and that's just not for me, and I don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to live his life, and he wouldn't want to live mine, you know. And
Right.
so
That's okay.
and that's okay. And that means, you know, that means I'll make less money. That means I'll make substantially less money. That means I'll make pretty much, you know, I'm trying to be like almost nothing, right? But a part of me is okay with that. A part of me is not. I think there's always going to be a part of me that wishes I could do something different, but I don't think there's going to be a part of me that wishes I could do something more. I think it's a horizontal change, not a vertical one. Like I'm still going to try my hardest, just it's something different. And so the 3 things for me that I've narrowed my like what would be a good life for me would be number 1, health.
There you go.
Number 1, like first thing. Number 2 would be a loving relationship, which I'm still working on. And then number 3 would be how do I word this? Like a striving to achieve a goal with somebody. You know what I mean? And so I have that. I don't have the relationship, and thank the Lord I have the health right now.
Well, I don't know. I suppose you're assuming like a wife and kids, but I feel like you have loving relationships now. I mean,
Yeah. I was talking more of a romantic
That's what I
relationship.
figured, yeah.
But I do have loving relationships right now, and so I'm good. Like
yeah, man.
right now, I think like bro, I'm chilling, and so I have no reason to not be happy.
That's a good mindset. You're okay now, but that doesn't mean that to do nothing.
Part of me
then is
being
continue.
here's the thing. It's like it's interesting. Part of me being chilling is a substantial part of my life is trying to do more, you know, and trying to like be like trying to achieve this goal. And so I'm okay. Like I'm good knowing that I'm trying actively, you know, and I don't necessarily. A part of me is like I don't really need to win, but another part of me is like I really want to win, or at least I just don't want to fail.
Yeah.
And so it's
Like, how can I succeed without feeling the need to win? But I also need to think that even if I don't win, it's okay.
I
It's
think
like a hard.
the thing that I'm learning is that the downside to wanting a big goal is that you're always going to have this uncertainty and this desire for more. And I think that I'm just going to have to learn to live with it. And I think I am living with it. I think it's been a big like thing for me of just like my life is great and I'm going to have a problem eventually. And so let me just enjoy my life while I don't really have too many problems, you know? Like a problem will come, AI will kill us all or something, or I'm going to lose somebody soon. Like but right now I'm good. And so I'll enjoy this now. And then when something bad happens, I'll reframe it and then do what I can when I'm there. But right now I'm great. Like I don't have anything. And so right now, well, wait, no. I do have a lot. I flip what I just said the other way. But I think I'm great.
Right.
And so not many people get to say that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's some people out there that actually almost have the ability to think like that, and they sort of don't because of, I don't know, maybe
It's easy to have.
distractions or- Yeah.
It's easy to like. I have micro problems. You know what I mean? But like,
Like some people almost look for problems in
it's
their life.
easy. It's easy.
It's
Easy. Yeah. It's a lot harder, but a lot more fulfilling to just be able to like take a step back and look at the blue sky above you and be like, it's not raining today, bro.
Yeah.
Like this is
Seriously.
great. You know what I mean? And that's been really hard for me. Is like, I guess like gratitude. But Alex Hormozy had a really good frame on gratitude that I really like, and I've been implementing it. And it honestly is one of the best things I've learned from him. And you wouldn't expect it to be from him, but what he said was to be grateful for something. Think of that thing, like think of your parents, for example. And now, imagine, like, for the audience, like, whatever, think of, like, one good thing that's in your life, one great thing right now. And then imagine, let's say it's a person, imagine that person just dies immediately. And now remember that they're alive. And when I'm like that, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, my parents could die at any point, but they're here.
Tell them I love them.
They're here right now. I better go hang out with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. It's huge.
Yeah, it really is, and it's you don't really think about it, especially at least in my experience. I didn't really think about it as much my first year in college. Like I didn't text them nearly as much as I should have, and my parents are. I love my parents. They're very intelligent too. Like they understood that. Like they knew I was going to college, and they didn't push on that. But I realized that I could have texted them more, and even past that, I mean, my extended family, like I just don't talk to them as often as I should.
Yeah.
And I say that I know the solution is to talk to them more, and so I will start to do that. But I definitely can work on it.
I had kind of the opposite experience in college, to be honest with you. When I left home, I developed like a real appreciation for my parents and for like my immediate family.
Oh yeah.
And it definitely made the moments that I do see them a lot more special.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Coming back.
I started to appreciate. I realized all of the stuff that I took for granted while I was in high school. Like truly, like your mom's cooking gets so much better when you come back and you realize there's no food at college. Just that, for example, I mean, I'm so much more grateful for that now, just because of the fact that I didn't have it. And so I guess that's what your analogy is. You know, it's like going out and thinking about what life would be like without it, and then going back and
imagine
like,
life
okay,
without it, and
so
remember you have it. You know, and
Yeah.
it won't last forever. So you better take advantage while you have it.
Yeah, that's the important part right there. It's not going to last forever.
Nothing will.
Yeah.
Will. That doesn't mean that the things don't. I think it's interesting. So I was struggling with this around episode 15. I mentioned this on the podcast, and I was really struggling with this. Like after I left like Christianity, after I decided like this probably isn't true, I was like really struggling with like nihilism, like nothing matters. Like I'm just gonna die, and if there is no God, then why does anything matter? And I got into a real like circle about it, like a real like rut about it for like months, and I was really struggling with it. And I mentioned on the podcast, and I eventually came to a conclusion that freaking saved me, bro. It was huge. Well, not like literally saved me, like metaphorically saved. It was really, really, really huge for me. I was just like, just because something doesn't last forever doesn't mean it doesn't have any meaning. Like if you give your girlfriend flowers, they're not gonna last forever, but the fact that they don't last forever, that's what gives it its meaning. Like if you give her a cardboard flower that's gonna last for the rest of her life, she doesn't care. But if you give her real flowers, no matter how expensive the cardboard flower was, you give her real flowers, she's like, oh, I appreciate this so much more because it is fleeting. And I'm gonna appreciate it. I'm gonna like hang it upside down so it lasts longer, which I have no idea how that makes sense. But and so like I appreciate this more, And in my opinion, what gives things meaning are what humans give things meaning. God doesn't. If a God exists, that obviously isn't the case, but if God doesn't exist, things still have meaning, but the origin of that meaning is different.
Yeah.
And so humans give things meaning. And that means that you can have contradictory meanings. Like what matters to me doesn't matter to you, and what matters to you doesn't really matter to me, well, like generally.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I think a lot of religious people reject, or people in the religious space reject. Like what's true for you isn't true for me. But when it comes to meaning, I think contradictory meanings, like wars are fought over that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what matters to you matters to me kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'll say one of the pros of not believing in a God or atheism, or like being an atheist or agnostic, is that you realize that there's not going to be anything past life, so you really need to enjoy and make this have meaning, right?
You get to.
Yeah, I guess you get to, but I would almost say that you have the responsibility to, because there's nothing after this.
Yeah.
You have the responsibility to make meaning in this life. And I mean, Brian Cox said something similar. I mean, and this is definitely a big paraphrase, but you know, if there are, like, assuming there's no other aliens on the rest of the universe, I mean, if humans were to disappear, there would be no meaning in the universe. So we inherently make meaning just being alive, you know.
Yeah.
And so if there's nothing past this when you die, then this inherently, I mean, we make meaning in this world, you know.
Yeah, and it also means that whatever you want to do is literally the most important thing.
Yeah.
And what other people say literally doesn't matter, because what matters to them doesn't matter to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter. Like, when it comes to, like, bringing it back to the start, like, social anxiety, like, when you are worried about talking to people, the reason you're worried about talking to people is because you're worried about what other people are going to think of you. But what matters to them doesn't have to matter to you. And the only thing that matters is what matters to you. And so do it for you. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, nothing matters, everything matters. It's hard.
Yeah.
It really is.
You like how I ended that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Thank
It's
you
tough.
guys for watching.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all in the next one. We upload YouTube videos every other week, every fortnight.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
we upload podcasts every Thursday. So
Stay safe, stay healthy, guys.
we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Bye. Let's go.
That was a good one. Hopefully the
I
audio isn't
enjoyed that.
trash.
I enjoyed that. I clearly I didn't have as much of a grasp on like teaching communication than I thought I did, to be honest.
It's all right.
I'm okay with that though.
Yeah, bro, it's so funny. I asked you who was in
was
your
like,
communications class, and you were
Bro,
like,
I
I
couldn't
don't
tell
know,
you.
bro.
I actually ended the class a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but yeah, like I just said it was a summer class. Bro, I should have. I truly was one ear, and in one ear out the other.